Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we are talking with Dr. Patricia Petralba, and she is an integrative medical doctor for women's health. She also is a lifestyle and wellness coach, founder of the Thrive Life Center, and creator of the Revive and Thrive program. So welcome, Patricia. So glad to have you join us. Can you tell us your story? I think that's a great place to start.
Yes. Hi, Jill. Thank you. And I'm excited to be here. So yes, I am a medical doctor, an integrative medical doctor. And for those who are new to what integrative medicine means, so it's essentially really combining the best of both worlds or all worlds. So it's the Eastern, the Western, the quantum, the energy healing. And it's really intended to get to the root cause versus band-aid healing and symptom reduction, to really get you to the optimum version of who you want to be, like your thriving best, because we are really designed to heal and to be kind of like, you know, how when we were children, when we had the optimum levels of energy, metabolism, sleep. So that version of us that is so optimum. And that's where integrative medicine can help. My story, so I used to be in corporate medicine, meaning insurance-based medicine in the hospital, very busy clinic, like the 15-minute or less per patient. And I just saw, you know, it's not ideal. It doesn't get to the root cause. I mean, like just meeting your friend for 15 minutes is never enough. What more if it's about your life and your health? And I mean, growing up in the Philippines, we are kind of naturally integrative anyway, like using nature, herbs, and ceremonies as medicine. And so I was really kind of having that, maybe you would call it soul calling, that it being in corporate medicine wasn't now aligning with me and how I serve my patients. And the patients, I mean, if not everybody knows they deserve better, right? We deserve better. We deserve to be heard and seen in a more holistic way, not just as organs, cardiology, pulmonology, dermatology, like we are mind, body, souls. And so, you know, becoming a mom, I think awakened that courage inside of me, to really kind of be authentic of who I really am and how I practice medicine. And so here I am. And now I'm kind of, you know, going into the global arena and coaching women all over the world, because there's not much who caters to that need. And a lot of women are really kind of also dropping out from corporate because they're feeling the, you know, the 9 to 5 doesn't really support the feminine biology.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
Yes. And so that's kind of the gap that I'm filling at the same time, you know, representing that part of the world where representing Filipinos and the indigenous culture and kind of how can we bridge traditions to modern day living. And I feel like I'm an embodiment of that. You know, growing up in the Philippines and being trained in America for medicine. So I feel like I really live in both worlds in many ways. And I want my clients to get that experience, that we can be with nature honor culture, traditions, and not be in the corporate doing and enjoy life at the same time, but be financially, fulfilled, safe, and kind of having that career trajectory that we want. So that's kind of the abbreviated story of Thrive Life Center. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive, I have to say. You've accomplished a lot. And I love how your journey has taken you from the male-dominated world of medicine and labeling people, because that's really all you do. When you go to the doctor's office, you're just looking for a label and maybe a pill to magically make the symptoms go away. But instead of getting to like the root of the problem and solving it so that you can live your best, most authentic life.
Yes.
And as your journey has progressed, it's gone into more of the feminine energy where you're incorporating women's cycles, and we live on a different rhythm than men do. And it's nothing against men. It's just that we have conformed to their dynamic for too long, and it's so refreshing to see people like you that are just like, well, we'll take what's good from there, because you learned a lot of knowledge, and then we'll just work on refining it so that it works better with how we were created to be beings rather than doings.
Right, exactly. Beings versus not just being doers. And I think it's really now kind of that awakening of using the female biology. We're now recognizing, hey, hang on. We are molding ourselves too much in the 9 to 5, which is very supportive of the testosterone predominant biology, a male biology. But now how can we, so this is my facilitation in, coaching women, and the world, like how can we, knowing that knowledge, be more integrative? Like how can we honor women and men in our productivity and unproductivity? No, and feeling safe that yes, we can still produce equal results when we allow and we listen to the female biology that I'm having a hot flash right now, and it's okay to not do my emails right now, and honor my body. Because when you listen to your body and you really look into the root cause, it will produce and create for you 10 times more versus going to just like an OBGYN and give you hormonal replacement therapy and mask the symptom. It makes you feel you're kind of living an illusion that the symptom went away, but you're actually masking it, and you're perpetuating the dynamic and the time and energy management that got you in the hot flash in the first place. So I'm not against conventional medicine. I still prescribe antihypertensive, thyroid medication. I still lean on it because it's very good at life-saving. It's very good at quick fix when like I really need to be here for my family or whatever. But if it's going to be like a chronic and lifelong sentence, that's where I feel like we're missing the point. We are perpetuating the root cause of what got us there in the first place if we just use pharmaceuticals.
I agree with that a lot. And I also agree with your point that modern medicine, the industrial medical complex, is really good at critical care. Yes. And they can bring you back from the brink. But the problem that I see when people go to the doctor and they get a prescription, they don't really understand that they need to be their own advocate. They're responsible for calling the doctor and making a new appointment and doing the tests to make sure that you still need that pharmaceutical drug, which is just, it's supposed to be an emergency relief
Yeah.
for getting you to better health. But people miss that component of you need to make some changes. Something got you to this point where you're in dis-ease in your body,
Right.
and you need to make some changes in order to get beyond that. And doctors don't tell you what you need to do. A lot of it has to do with diet, but diet's just one portion of it. And there's also exercise, and there's, mental practices and spiritual practices it's the whole person. Isn't just like your gallbladder or your pancreas or your brain or your heart or your liver. I mean, or your digestive tract. I'm amazed at how many people are unaware that your immune system is in your gut.
Right.
I mean, that's something that you should know in elementary school, because if you take care of what you're putting in there, you're going to be healthier. But people don't know.
100% agree. And, talking about what we teach children, my children goes to Waldorf school. So there, I completely align with their philosophy into the first 7 years of life. And this is where I think most of us in our adult life, it shows up in our symptoms of our stress, because we haven't connected our mind and our body. So in the first 7 years of life, Rudolf Steiner believes that our critical brain isn't well formed. So it's not very ideal to let children 7 and below think or kind of learn ABCs 1, 2, 3. We want to really maximize the body awareness, the sensory, the 5 senses. So you're really checked in, like, how is my body feeling versus what are you thinking? So contrast to regular school of thought, where immediately we bombard our children with kind of learning their ABCs, learning math. And so then immediately we're up in our heads. And that's where a lot of the dysregulation happens that I see with emotional health and mental health, is we somehow disconnected our physical, emotional, and critical thinking, because we were encouraged to think when we are still in our hypnotic state, brain frequency, meaning the first 7 years of life, we are mostly in our theta and delta waves, where that's like the very relaxed brain waves. We are very suggestible, hypnotic. You know how when we don't have a lot of memories during the first 7 years of life, because our brain hasn't really woken up. We are kind of in that dream state, and we keep waking up our consciousness when we weren't ready yet. We needed to wake up our bodies and emotions first.
And
so
what's
I know
worse
that's kind of
right now is that not only are they like pushing young boys, especially into schools at an earlier and earlier age, where they really need to be outside playing. They need to be interacting with nature. Their big muscles are starting to develop. And it's cruel to say you have to sit in this chair and you have to pay attention.
I can sit in the chair for 45 minutes,
They're not physically capable of it. And then we start giving them drugs. Let's dull you down so that you don't think. And then we wonder why they struggle with grades or behavioral problems. It's like, just let them go outside. Who cares if they really go to school until they're like 13 or 14? You can learn, and I know this for a fact because I did it with my own kids. Everything you need to know, you can learn in 2 years.
Yes.
I unschooled my kids for the first 12 and a half, 13 years of their lives. And then I plugged them into a school so they could get their certificate, their diploma. And they all graduated in 3 years with pretty close to straight A's. And they were done at 16.
Yes. I love it.
I didn't torture them the whole way they were growing up with let's sit here and learn how to do this stuff that really you'll never use again in your life.
I
And if you
know.
do
And
use
what
it,
you, right. And what you can use with your life is what you were saying, moving, being out in nature. And, me and my husband, he's also an integrative physician, where we were reflecting, seeing all these diseases, right? And the root cause, 90% of the root cause is really how we were poured into the roots of our roots during childhood. Like, how were we able to supported and allowed to express our feelings? How were we supported and allowed to move? No, and not like what you were saying, pin down, listen to this. And how were we able to be outside in nature? Imagine those three things as an adult: emotional mastery, sensory body mastery, like you can do cartwheels, you can, go up the mountain, rock climb, and
climb
then be
trees.
in nature, no? Like you crave for what is natural. And a lot of us are nature deficit. We're always in artificial light, artificial air, artificial ground. Our water is
Artificial
fully
food.
processed. Yes, artificial food. And so we can reparent that child within using those three things. No, and this is integrative medicine right here. Express yourself, honor your emotion instead of pacifying it immediately with retail therapy, food, or Instagram, scrolling through your social media. Honor them, welcome them, versus I need to die down my anxiety. I need to turn off my depression. And then move. Of course, it's energy and motion, emotion. The body can be the medium to move that emotion, aside from your cardiovascular system and longevity. And then nature. We are elements.
Yes. We are designed to be an integral part of the energy system that is the world. And we're all connected. We're connected to the air. We're connected. We're not even real solid beings. It's just an illusion. What we are is a bunch of molecules that are all vibrating, and
Yes.
molecules aren't like a thing. They're a frequency.
Yes.
More than they are an energy, more than they are like a substance.
Yes.
We give them labels, which makes it seem like they're the little ball with the toothpicks and the other little balls, but that's not how they exist.
I love
in
it.
reality.
Yes. And I love what you said about we are frequency, we are energy, and that's 100% true. And what people, I think, need to hear and be reminded, because all the answers are inside of us, that the heart is 5,000 more powerful. The electric and magnetic charge of the heart is more powerful than the brain. We think that the brain is the command center, that we have to think things through. We have to figure it out. But honestly, the brain is the command center. When we allow ourselves to feel, the brain follows neurochemistry, what you need, what you desire, what brings you joy, what brings you peace. And yeah, that's what I see. And it's so sad. I see it, on a daily life, like kind of their heart space, their heart frequency is like dulled down because of, again, like from early childhood, we lean on so much with our logic, and it makes us feel so unsafe to lean on our emotions.
Yes. And leaning on your emotions, you have the term gut check.
Yes.
And it's because you feel stuff in your gut. And if you can listen to it, it will tell you what the right thing to do is. And if you can get out of your head and your thoughts kind of like, if you let your thoughts rule everything about your life, which you're talking about in your head, well, in your head is what you're thinking about. And we have all of these thoughts, and most of them are really negative from our childhood that we just like mull over and we just replay that record, and it's not serving us, and it keeps us from connecting with our body and respecting our intuition and respecting that gut check that you get when something happens and it impacts you and you're not really sure why it's impacting you, that you feel it. If you stop just letting your brain run everything, and you can feel what your response is to a given stimulus,
Right.
it'll help you navigate it better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's what you were saying about, we need to get out of our head and back into our body and our heart. Our hearts feel things, and to respect the emotions that we have.
Absolutely. And the gut, I love that you said that gut check, because the gut actually has more of those neurochemistry, like the serotonin, the norepinephrine, that supports our emotional well-being. We think it's mental health, but honestly, a lot of it too is actually more of it is gut health, because we actually have more nerve cells or neurons, whatever cells that we have in our brain, in the gut than the brain.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, we have more of it in our gut. So that's why what we put in, we really need to be mindful, because it drives really our health. I mean, everything is connected. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I love that we're now, and this is really kind of a recent phenomenon, getting into like the holistic health coaches. And it sounded kind of, fringy for the longest time, but it really shouldn't be fringy. It's just looking at the human being as the whole individual. You are not just your body, and you're not just parts of your body, which is what modern medicine really likes to chop you up.
Yes.
You're just your liver. You're just your guts. You're just your legs. You're just your heart. And then they just address those one parts, or your bones, if it's just like, or your reproductive organs, you go to a doctor for specific parts of your body. And that's just not, it just doesn't make any sense to me right now, because we're not just those parts. Those parts are a part of a larger organism, and it's impacted by things even outside of the organism that's driving it. But I think that's why you end up with just getting a label and a prescription, because they really, and 15 minutes, I mean, really, they're going to know something about you in 15 minutes just by looking at you.
Right. Yes. And it feels overwhelming. It feels very overwhelming when we navigate it, when it's separate parts, and nobody is piecing that all together for you. Well, you can, right? Because you need to be, and I think the most effective healthcare would be your own accountability and self-leadership, but it can be very overwhelming. So that's what actually most of my patients would tell me, like, there's so much information out there, even with the holistic health kind of starting to boom, from nutrition to exercise to all these mind body therapies, from tapping to meditation. There's just so much. And so that's where I think facilitation by either a coach or an integrative medical doctor comes in, because we help kind of distill all the information, so you're not overwhelmed and you can feel like you can move forward without kind of overthinking wait a minute, which truth do I follow, like which diet, which supplement. And so so I think I want to just recognize that it can really feel overwhelming, but the hope is that there are now providers and resources to get rid of that overwhelm, so you can move forward.
And you really should take advantage of coaches and integrative physicians. There
Yes.
aren't nearly as many integrative physicians out there as
Mhm.
are needed. It's
Yes.
just like I've tried to find them in my area, and they just don't exist in
Right.
some areas. But so word out there to anybody that's thinking about going into it, we need you here. But and as I was saying about the holistic coaches, you have somebody that can take you by the hand who's probably gone through what you're going through. They can help you navigate all of the things that they had to figure out for themselves until they found out what works to solve that problem. And working with somebody that's more holistic takes away that 15 minutes that you're going to spend with your doctor, and then he's going to give you something but not follow up with you. I can't tell you how many people I've known personally who've taken medication that their doctor gave to them years ago, started them on this medication. No one ever followed up with them as to whether they still needed it, because our bodies totally change every 7 years. It's just every single cell is different after 7 years. But they're still taking this prescription they were given like 10 years ago. Maybe they call it in. The doctor just keeps giving it to them when they may or may not still need it. And they could probably have gotten off of it within a couple months if they just changed some things about how they were living.
Right. I agree. And so that's where kind of that self-leadership comes in. Our healthcare system, or meaning, honestly, it's not even healthcare system. I feel like it's disease management system. It's not built in a way where, it's personalized or customized, or that we're on top of things. So we really need to be the advocates of ourselves. And even with me, even if I'm concierge and I really know my patients through and through, I give them the ball. Like, I am very honest, and I want to train my patients that it's not me doing the healing. It's not my job to be on top of things. I'm merely here to mirror and reflect back to you the data that I have and help you go to where you want to go and provide accountability. But we put so much power onto doctors sometimes that, hang on, like, that's not their job. It's your job. And we just kind of follow your lead. And so bridging to the current disease medical system, for us to really envision the new healthcare, we have to support and seek those integrative doctors. So then we become, the consumers always drive the trend. So it's through our dollars that we can create the change. And anyway, so that's a call to action to whoever's listening. If you're complaining, be part of the solution. Support your integrative doctor, support your holistic health coach. We all need to support each other,
and take personal responsibility for your health. They're there to empower you, not to wave a magic wand over you and excuse the behaviors that got you to the place that you're at. If you want something to change, you have to change.
Yes.
So what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with, Dr. Patricia?
So much good stuff. But, I think with all the information out there, with all the holistic coaches out there, and we tend to have this label that we're followers of this coach and whatnot. The follower really is you, and you are the leader too. Self-leadership with love. Always with love. You lead with love, because love is really like the easiest access to the healing frequency. The heart space can inform every organ, every cell, every nerve, to go where you want to go. So I leave you with that. I hope that resonated with your listeners. Lead with love into your thriving self.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have a thing that you give away called the Thriving Women Formula. And I don't want you to leave before you tell the audience about that, because I think that's really important.
Yeah, so it's a free guidebook on how to, it's really a kind of nervous system regulation, how to turn on the parasympathetic or turn on the healing response so you're relaxed, how to feel calmer. So it's a workbook. It will guide you through how to do just that. So it's a free downloadable workbook that you can find in my website, thrivewithdrpatricia.com. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And they can find you at thrivewithdrpatricia.com as well, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an amazing conversation. I really appreciate you.
Same here, Jill. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.